Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Wednesday morning. It's now the 27th day of November 2024, and this is the morning briefing coming to you from the home weather office. And as I look out the window, it's a lot brighter than it has been the last couple of days. Some nice sunshine, a few clouds here and there. It is going to be a good-looking day, and we are now getting into a dry period for California. It may be a while before we see anything in the way of any rain or snow at all, which is great news for travel. But there is still going to be the issue of the possibility of having some fog develop over the next couple of mornings. So let's show you what's happening first thing this morning. And as the clouds clear to the south, you can see that this little area right in here, that is some fog that is on the east side of the valley, all the way down to, you get down toward the Grapevine in the bottom of the valley here, down south of Bakersfield. So yes, we do have some fog in the valley this morning, but nothing around the Sacramento area or to the north. And farther to the north, we have mainly clear skies. As the sun comes up, you can see the fresh snow in the Sierra, which is always nice to see. And we likely have enough snow that the skiing should be okay for this Thanksgiving weekend. But if you're looking for more snow, it doesn't look as though we have much coming our way. So let's take a look at a couple of models. And let's see, that's the national one. I'll get to that in a minute. Okay, this is the one I wanted to show you. This is the HRRR. And as we go through the day today, as I'm just showing you the cloud cover here, you can see we have clear skies today. And then tonight, during the overnight hours, this area of fog begins to develop. Let me go to about 6 a.m. All right, that is southern Butte County through Sacramento County and down to the south. The foothills and Sierra are, of course, out of that. Same thing on the Coast Range. This is just one of those Central Valley phenomenons that we often see. Tule fog, for those of you that have been around long enough for us to be referring to it as Tule fog. And it would burn off, if everything happens right, as we go through the middle part of the day and into the afternoon. Also, on Thanksgiving morning, it's going to be chilly. Valley temperatures down in the mid to upper 30s, so if you are going out for the run to feed the hungry or one of the other many runs that go on in the area, it is going to be a chilly morning, but the possibility of some fog. Now, one of the issues here is that, well, there isn't a lot of model agreement on whether or not you'll get some fog. So we'll have the right ingredients for fog: clear skies, light winds, enough moisture in the air to cause the moisture to condense. But sometimes the models pick it up and sometimes they don't. That's Thursday morning, and it shows the same thing again on Friday morning. And the thing I find interesting about this development on Friday morning is that this model, the HRRR, has enough resolution to show that right there, that black dot in the middle, that's the Sutter Buttes. So this model has good enough resolution to show that, oh yeah, actually the Sutter Buttes would be out above the fog, indicating that you'd likely see some really low visibility down on the ground because the top of the fog deck would likely be at around 1,000 feet or lower. But again, there's not full agreement on whether or not we're going to see the fog. Let me show you the NAM version of it. Now, keep in mind the NAM doesn't have the same sort of resolution. But as we go to first thing Thursday morning, this model isn't showing much in the way of fog. There may be a few patches here and there, but this model isn't showing near as much. Then as we go into Friday, it's the same thing. On Friday morning, it's not really showing anything in the way of fog either. So, like I said, you can see the models can anticipate that we have the right ingredients for it. But what we often see is there are discrepancies in terms of the extent of the fog, as well as when it's going to burn off. So I think the models do an okay job with this, but I don't think they nail it just yet. You know, it's pretty good that we can get that kind of resolution, especially on the HRRR. But just a word of caution that the fog forecasting is pretty tricky. And, you know, like I said, I think it's pretty good that models do what they do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can look at the model and say, oh, there's no fog in my house. I'm in the valley, but it's going to be 10 miles away. It doesn't quite have that kind of capability at this point. So what I want to caution you here, though, is that it could be one of those cases on both Thursday and Friday morning that we have areas where we do have some fog, and we might have visibility down to a couple of 100 feet. It really could be that thick. But a few miles away, we might see mainly clear skies. So it could be one of those cases where you leave your house and the visibility is fine, and then a couple of miles away, you run into an area of rather dense fog. Also keep that in mind if you're going to be around going over any of the rivers, the bypasses, with the water still being relatively warm compared to the colder air. Those areas are also a bit more susceptible to have areas of dense fog. So if you use the causeway on I-5 or on Interstate 80 going over the river, just keep that in mind that you may find some areas of dense fog there. So just kind of keep that in mind with the fog forecasting. It's good. But it's not exact at this point. I think the precipitation forecasting we get is a lot better. All right, let me take a look at the rest of the country, because as we go through this weekend, it is of course going to be a busy weekend, and I think one of the most active areas is going to be back east. This little low developing along the coast is going to produce some pretty good snow from Pennsylvania through New York and northern New England. That would be Maine, New Hampshire, and Vermont. The rain snow line looks as though it's going to be pretty close to the New Hampshire-Massachusetts line, and then farther to the south it would be rain. But it does look as though it might be windy and rainy for the parade. This would be first thing in the morning. On Thursday morning, we may be seeing rain for the Macy's parade. And it could be kind of a windy day there as well. And then behind that, you can look at the rest of the country. This is Thursday afternoon. The rest of the country is really, really quiet. And on Friday, we see the same thing. This is Friday afternoon. Most of the country is dry. There's some showers in Florida. And then this is what we were talking about yesterday with this low anchored up here, close to Hudson's Bay. You'll find cold air. The 540 thickness line is well down here, almost down to Atlanta. The 540 thickness line is a good indicator, which is why we have it highlighted here in this purple color as opposed to the blue slash marks and the red slash marks. These are thickness lines. Thickness lines are the difference between the level of the 1,000 millibar level and the 500 millibar level, and the lower the thickness, the colder the air. And so when you have this line here, the 5160 line, the 516 line, that's some really cold air. So you have cold air coming across the Great Lakes. We will see the lake effect snow impacting areas especially along Lake Erie and Lake Ontario as we head into the day on Friday. Then on Saturday, Saturday looks pretty quiet as well, but the lake effect snow continues, and then that would continue even to the day on Sunday, as I highlighted yesterday, with the possibility of having lake effect snow for the Niners game playing at Buffalo on Sunday night. We'll keep an eye on that, but with lake effect snow, it really depends on a few miles here and there can make a difference between, a little bit of snow and a lot of snow. So there could be some areas off the Great Lakes, off Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, that see 2 feet of snow, while just a few miles away you see snow flurries. So it's not a guarantee that they'll see snow in Orchard Park for the 49ers game, but if one of those lake effect snow bands goes over the stadium during the game, it could be near whiteout conditions. That's one of the fun things about lake effect snow. Fun being a relative term. That's everything I've got for you on this Wednesday morning. Have a great Thanksgiving and have a great day. I'll talk with you later.